Hey guys, so in today's video I'm going to be talking about whether or not the iPhone 7 is worth it to buy in July 2018. Right off the bat, I'm gonna say that I love this phone a lot. I had the iPhone 7 in rose gold for a while, I think about a year if it's even that long. But then I switched over to the iPhone 8 Plus, so I went from a smaller model to a bigger model. But while using the iPhone 7, I absolutely loved it. Now, overall, I love this phone. It's super great and it's just very user-friendly and super fast. I just love every single thing about the phone. I really loved it. The color, the design, everything was flawless, and I really just enjoyed the phone and its size and everything with it. When I got my iPhone 8 Plus, my sister got my iPhone 7 and she also really loves the phone. She keeps saying she doesn't want a new phone, she loves her phone. Although the iPhone 8 does sound appealing to her because of that like gold color, the soft pink, that's her favorite color. But she also really loves the iPhone 7. So yeah, while I was using the phone, it was the best phone for me. I loved the style, I loved how fast it was, even though it doesn't look very different from the iPhone 6s in looks wise. But I really loved it. Some features were just more clean, like the removal of the antenna bands. So yeah. But yeah, so that was my overall first impression of the iPhone 7 when I first started using it, while I was using it. But now it's almost 2 years later and we're going to be looking at the phone now and what is its worth right now in July 2018. So Apple's event is going to be in September where they're going to be releasing new iPhones, but we're going to be looking at the worth of the iPhone 7 despite the release of those. Obviously, prices are going to be dropped for the iPhone 7 because new phones are released, which is really cool. So let's just look at some of the specs of the iPhone 7 and see, regardless of the phones that are going to come out in September, whether this phone is still worth it now in July 2018. So first off, the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus come in 5 colors, which is gold, rose gold, silver, black and jet black. And also their capacities are at 32GB and 128GB. So the iPhone 7 has a Retina HD display which is 4.7 inches. It is also a widescreen LCD multi-touch display with IPS technology. The iPhone 7 also has a 1334 by 750 resolution at 326 ppi. So what all those numbers and letters mean is that this phone has a decent screen and that you'll still be able to see your screen even in harsh sunlight. Now as for the cameras of this phone, it has a 12 megapixel camera with an f1.8 aperture and it can record videos in 4K at 30 frames per second. It also has optical image stabilization, which is nice. So what this means is you're going to be getting some decent photos and videos off of this phone. And as for the front-facing camera, it has a 7 megapixel camera with an f2.2 aperture and it can record up to 1080p video. Obviously the iPhone 7 doesn't have the dual camera setup at the back, so there are some downsides to that. So basically you can have portrait mode, which are really cool and you can take really cool photos with portrait mode, and you're gonna only be able to zoom in 5 times, where with the dual camera setup you're gonna be able to zoom in 10 times. So obviously this is just going to depend on whether or not you're gonna use the dual camera setup or if it's just a gimmick to you. So that was camera wise. Now as for speed, this phone is really fast and it performs really well. It has Apple's A10 Fusion chip and it also has an embedded M10 motion coprocessor. So this phone is really fast with 2 gigs of RAM. And I just think it's really good at doing daily tasks. As for me, I edit videos on my phone, so I edited my videos on my iPhone 6s, I did it on my iPhone 7, and I also do it now on my iPhone 8 Plus. And this phone really held up well with editing, and I had a bunch of apps running on it at the same time while editing. So yeah, this phone really does hold up well in multi-purpose and especially editing, which does take a lot of power. So as for some additional features and things that just makes this iPhone really great is things like Touch ID, which you use a lot. It's things like 3D Touch, which I use especially when just correcting texts and things like that. It's just a really helpful feature that they implemented into this phone, so I really like that as well. And it also has the Taptic engine, which just makes using different apps just a lot better. Like for instance, that feeling that you get when you just set an alarm or something, that's really good feeling, and it's just nice when scrolling and you just feel like something's vibrating inside your phone. Or when you send iMessage with those effects, which it really vibrates in your hands, and it just gives that extra features that makes usability just so much better and more enjoyable. As for battery life, it has decent battery life and it can hold you a day if you don't have too heavy use on it. Obviously, any phone that you're gonna be using heavily is gonna run out of battery at some point and faster than usual, but for everyday tasks and things like that, this battery will hold you at least most of the day. Like I said, I love the design. The removal of the antenna bands are really cool. They have some great speakers as well on this phone. It really it's good sound quality. Obviously it's not the best, but it is still good sound quality. There is just one thing you have to keep in mind whether it bothers you, is the removal of the headphone jack. Really, I don't see the point in making too big of a deal of this. I mean, you get a headphone jack adapter and you also get headphones with a lightning port, so I really don't think it's too much of a big deal. But if that's something that really bothers you, maybe this phone is not for you. But something that really does work great with this phone is AirPods, and it's just something that makes the removal of the headphone jack not that bad. So yeah, that was basically the specs of this phone, and overall, as you can see, I really love this phone. I think it's so worth it right now, even when the new phones come out. Something that I don't really like but that is happening is like updates in iOS, like iOS 12 is really favoring the iPhone 10, which I understand, obviously, like emojis and things like that, but I mean, it's just obviously their best seller and it's their top phone, their flagship right now. So I just wish there were more changes in iOS that basically favor other phones which don't have like emojis and things like that, with some cool additional features for these phones as well. Obviously there are new features for these phones, but they're just not as exciting as the features for the iPhone 10. So yeah, if you're thinking of buying this phone and scared you're gonna regret it for the new iPhones, I just want to give you ease of mind and say that this phone really will perform well. If you don't really care about the newest and the greatest, this phone will make you happy. It has a lot of good features and the size is really comfortable, especially for portability and things like that. The size is really nice. Overall, I love this phone. I think it's great. I think you can still use it for multiple things right now, and that you won't really regret buying this phone in July 2018. Also, a good thing is that when the phones in September are released, there's gonna be a price drop, so you're gonna be able to have this phone for a good price, and secondhand you're gonna have some great options for people who are selling their phones, and you're gonna get a really good price secondhand as well. Just remember to meet the people in person, otherwise you can maybe fall for a scam. So yeah, that's basically my thoughts on the iPhone 7 in July 2018. As you can see, I'm really for it. I don't know if it's just bias, but I just think this phone is really well. I mean, I love the phone. My sister still uses hers right now and she still loves it. She doesn't complain about it, and it's just a really good phone. But yeah, that were my thoughts. It just depends on what you're looking for and what are your thoughts about this. If you have some thoughts you want to share, leave them in the comments down below, and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and found it helpful. Definitely subscribe by clicking on the icon on the screen, click on the playlist to see all of my other iPhone reviews and more videos like this, and then click on the video to see my previously uploaded video. Love you guys so much, be weird and be proud of it. Bye!